Trevor Noah has been named the new host of The Daily Show, and of course, that doesn't come without some controversy. A lot of people had no idea who he was, including me. And so, of course, there was a little bit of an investigation by online fans of The Daily Show. They wanted to find out who he was and what he tweeted about in the past. Well, it turns out that as a comedian, he tends to tweet things that might be considered a little offensive. Let me give you some examples. So apparently, at one point he tweeted, "South Africans know how to recycle like Israel knows how to be peaceful." Now, if you look directly below that, one person said, "Sad that someone as ignorant as Trevor Noah will host The Daily Show with comments like these, hashtag Israel at Stand With Us."
Stand with us for what? Where are we standing? Okay, so first of all, that's not even necessarily directed against Israel. It's saying that Israel is living in a non-peaceful situation. That's almost certainly true, right? Even people in Israel, I think, would agree when Hamas launches the rockets. They don't feel like they're living in peace. And on top of that, he's a frickin' comedian.
Yeah.
He's making a joke about how there isn't peace in the Middle East. To me, that particular joke is the least offensive joke I've ever heard, except the one he made about Oscar Pistorius, where he also got in a little bit of trouble because he said, "And the Oscar goes to jail." People are like, "How dare you?" Then you can't make any jokes.
Yeah, he's a comedian. He's a comedian. So, look, if a non-comedian tweeted that, I don't know if I would be deeply offended by it, right? It's not a deeply offensive tweet, right? It's not like he said, "I hate all black people," or "I hate Jews," or "I hate." It's a joke. It's a joke.
Do you think Israel has lived in peace? Is that what you? I mean, what? I'm not arguing this anymore. It's absurd.
Okay, so there are more, and he didn't just attack Jewish people. He also attacked women. And people are upset about that. I think that they're overreacting. Let me give you some more examples. First, another person who's really upset about the Jewish tweet. "What the fuck did you say, Trevor Noah? Got anything else smart to say about Jews, little anti-Semite?"
But okay, and he didn't say anything about Jews there. Look, there's another tweet where it was about Jews. Okay, you wanted to criticize that, then it's at least an open conversation. He said about Israel.
Yeah.
And he said that Israel's not in a peaceful situation. I don't even know that he meant that Israel's the one not being peaceful. And even if he meant that, well, they are occupying people for nearly 50 years. You can make an argument that that's not peaceful, right? Come on. All right, now the next tweet. Okay, look, this one is much more open to interpretation. And I can see people getting upset about this, although I don't quite understand it. He said, "Behind every successful rap billionaire is a double as rich Jewish man."
Hashtag Beats by Dreidel.
Okay.
I think that's
Beats
hilarious.
by Dreidel is funny. I don't understand what he means, though, by the rap billionaire and the
I
rich
think he's
Jewish
probably referring to a manager or an agent that represents the rap billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm insensitive and maybe I'm being offensive, but I just don't find that to be insulting to Jewish people. First of all, it was a joke, and Beats by Dreidel was brilliant. Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, okay, look, you want to get offended by that? That's at least it's an open call, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's your judgment to make. My agent is Jewish, so I don't know. Like, does that make me anti-Semitic?
You know what? My agent is Jewish too.
Okay. But comedians are supposed to like make jokes about things that are not really true, but like where you go, "Oh, haha, funny,"
No,
whatever.
this is okay. Two things are happening here. I'm going to read more of the offensive jokes in a second. But two things are happening here. A, people on Twitter, specifically on Twitter, love to get offended, right? You scratch your ass the wrong way and people lose their shit. Everyone calm down. Number two, there's a lot of bitterness and resentment.
Totally.
Look, he got the job.
Totally.
You didn't. You're whiny and crying about it. Just move on with your life, okay? First of all, he hasn't even done a show yet. Let him do the show, and then you can critique him. But it's like, "Oh my God, who is this man? We don't know who he is. He's not an American. Oh my God, he's not a woman. He's not this. He's not that." Who cares? Let him do his job, and then you can judge him.
Yesterday, I did a clip where I talked about how he came out of South African radio. It's amazing. And some people interpreted me as being bitter about it. No, I was saying, first of all, I thought Comedy Central, I mean, that is as bold as it gets to pick a guy that not a lot of people know about. Mm-hmm. People criticize TV executives for not being bold. Well, here they were being bold. So, but my main prediction in that video was, oh, the comics are going to be super bitter about this because they would have loved that job and they don't know this guy. And they're going to be like, "Who is he to get it?" And now, oh, the bitterness is dripping from Twitter.
Yes, it is.
Especially from the comics. It's inside them. It's eating them up.
Okay, let me give you more examples. So he actually responded to an Uber fact, and the fact was, the more you fear something, the bigger it appears. And he said, So I must make women fear my penis.
That's a perfectly fine joke.
How dare he?
You cannot. If you get offended at that, then you never listen to comedy.
Did he just make
comedy's not for you.
But he just made a self-deprecating penis joke. I'm deeply offended by that. Okay, more. A hot white woman with ass is like a unicorn. Even if you do see one, you'll probably never get to ride it.
Well, I'm beginning to think this guy might be funny. Okay. Anna, are you offended?
I am a white woman. I don't have much of an ass. So
I guess it doesn't apply.
I give him a pass. I thought that was funny. Okay, and yeah. Anyway, moving on. Oh yeah, the weekend. People are gonna get drunk and think that I'm sexy. And then he quoted fat chicks everywhere.
So now look, the fat chick jokes, people get offended by. I don't love the fat chick jokes.
Yeah, that's the one I like the least.
Yes.
Actually, I dislike that joke.
I dislike it too. Maybe that's because I too am an overweight American. No, in reality, it bothers me because they're not powerful. They're powerless. Like you're picking on people that you shouldn't be picking on, in my opinion. But then I'm nitpicking, right? This is not a reason to deny the guy a job.
Yeah. All right. So one more. I didn't like this one either. So he retweeted someone who said, when a woman is loved correctly, she becomes 10 times the woman she was before. And he says, so she gets fat.
See, that's a bad joke, too.
Yeah, it's a bad. I'm offended by both people in that tweet. Mm-hmm. Like, a woman needs to be loved in order to become 10 times the woman that she is.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
please,
come on,
please,
really?
please.
Like,
if you want to point out how unbearable that is, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But don't call him fat for no reason.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, and I like the rest. Ari David goes over the top. I don't know who he is, but he says, hey, Comedy Central, your new hire, Trevor Noah, equals racist Jew hater. Dude, bring it down, man. And then he apparently tweeted something, and then there was panic at Comedy Central, I'm sure.
And he took it down 30 minutes later.
So Trevor Noah tweeted, Twitter does not have enough characters to respond to all the characters on Twitter, which is a little clever turn of phrase. And I'm sure that somebody pressed the panic button at Comedy Central and was like, no, keep him away from the Twitter machine. Okay, for now, look, some things might have crossed some lines according to some people, but this is not outrageous. This is not crazy. He's not a philosopher or a politician he's not on the school board. He's a comedian. You got to give him some leeway to make jokes.
Yeah, so I think that we start entering the slippery slope when we try to censor comedians. I think that it's a very, very clear determination whether or not someone has passed the boundaries, right? So when you have the guy that was yelling the N-word over and over again, I forget his name. Kramer, yeah.
Michael Richards.
Michael Richards, there we go. I mean, that didn't come from a place of comedy, that came from a place of frustration and anger. In this case, he's trying to be funny, he's a comedian, these are supposed to be jokes. We're supposed to be able to laugh at ourselves a little bit. And so I don't take it that seriously, and we should all move on.
Yeah, he also, by the way, makes fun of black Americans.
How dare he?
That's right. If you watch, I watched one of his stand-up routines, and he had a Hitler joke in there. Like, the guy's a little bold, right? Not that one. I can't imagine that anybody would think was offensive, because he was making fun of how black or how unblack he is, right? But then he made fun of black Americans left and right. Are they going to get upset next? Bring it down. Bring it down.